Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. It is challenge time today. I have set a challenge for myself and I will rise to meet it. Or try. What challenge is it? And feel free to play along at home. Getting $500 of value in terms of fragrances while spending only $100. Or less. So $500 retail value and spending under $100. I actually had this idea just the other day and I was like, I bet it'll be easy. There's so many discounters out there, so many great prices. That shouldn't be a problem. Until I started doing it. And then I was like, oh, this is gonna take a while. But I believe I have succeeded and I'll share with you guys how. And like I said, feel free to play along at home if you think, oh, no. I have a much better combination of fragrances that I can get that's gonna give me $500 retail value for under $100. Feel free, you're gonna go down that rabbit hole. All the fragrances I talked to you guys about are gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. And since we're talking about getting a lot of fragrance for a little bit of money, here are codes to save you money on fragrances. And especially those new Joma Shop codes. There are 2 of them, but they only work on the Joma Shop app. Okay, well, let's dive into it. Let's get started. I'll kind of walk you guys through my thought process as I was trying to come up with this. Because at first, it doesn't sound impossible, right? $500 retail value for under $100. Until you realize, oh, that means across everything, I need to be finding stuff that's like 80% off. 50% off is an amazing deal, right? $100 fragrance you get for 50 bucks. Man, that's sick. But with this kind of setup, what we're looking for, that would actually be awful because you would use up half of your budget, 50 bucks, but then you only get something that's worth $100 retail. You still got $400 to go. So the first thing that I thought was, maybe a Mont Blanc Legend, like this one, Legend Red. This one seemed to be the best bang for buck, at least what I was looking up, because this one at full retail is over $100, and at discounters is just a little over 30. It retails for $115 in the US, and the prices that I give you are going to be the prices as of when I'm filming this video. So in the future, some of these fragrances could go down in price at discounters, some could go up, but as of when I'm filming, these are the prices. And then at discounters, it's around 33. Now, that's a really big savings. That's a huge savings actually from retail to discounters, but it's not quite good enough. And Legend Red is actually not my favorite Legend fragrance, not by a long shot. I think that Legend Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, Legend Night, Legend Blue, Legend Spirit are all better than Legend Red. But I was just trying to get that value, you know? Actually, I've not smelled this one for a minute, so let's give it a quick smell. Yay. It's okay. It's not great. And I'll tell you guys, as we go along, some of these fragrances that I chose, actually, I would spend a little more and get some of the other fragrances that I talk about today instead of them, but we gotta hit that mark. We gotta hit that 500. So Legend Red, that was the first one I thought of, and I quickly realized this is gonna take a minute. Then my thought process went, okay, let's check out something that I know is just dirt cheap. Crazy inexpensive, like Nautica Voyage. You can pick this up online for like $19 most places. What does it retail for? Well, I was finding it for $62.50 retail, so just under $63. And again, that's good savings, that's solid. And I would have put this one in there had I not found another fragrance that was slightly more expensive than this one at retail and also slightly cheaper than this one. But I will say, if you're looking for just a crazy inexpensive fragrance for spring and summertime, really just about any time that's office safe, good versatility, decent performance, really likable, and actually smells good quality for the price point you can get it for, Nautica Voyage is solid, which is one of the reasons that it's been a hyped cheapie for years and years and years at this point. It still works, it's solid. Maybe it's not something that's gonna absolutely blow you away, but in the price range that this is playing at, pretty good. Unfortunately, not enough of a savings here to make the cut. But now we get to the first fragrance that did make the cut. The first one that I found where I said, oh, that's a pretty good savings. Not that it's necessarily the most amazing fragrance on the planet or anything. I mean, it's okay, it's fine. But yeah, it just worked out. It's Guess Seductive Red. So with this one, you can pick it up for $15 as of this video, and it retails for $68. So that means your $15 purchase is getting you, in terms of retail pricing, $53 of savings. That's pretty good, that's not bad. And I do have to say, for $15, it's actually a really solid buy. It's similar to Boss Bottled, so it's kind of in that style, you know, Boss Bottled with a tiny touch of 1 million, something like that. It has cinnamon in there, vanilla, lemon zest as some of the notes in the fragrance. Again, for 15 bucks, it's solid. It's gonna be more of a fall, wintertime fragrance. Quality for that price, actually really good. The performance is so-so. You know, it's not amazing, especially for this type of scent. But again, the price and the best part, the atomizer, it's actually pretty good. So Guess Seductive Red, that was the first one that I found where I thought, yep, that's a pretty good savings right there. I think that one will work. And then I thought I was big brain by going for this one, which I found for $19, but it also retails for $68. So it didn't quite work out because this one just a little more affordable. That whole $4 that I saved really came in handy. Drakkar Intense. Now, my own personal taste, you know, if I were gonna pick one of these up, is a $4 difference, I would go for the Drakkar. But in terms of savings, yeah. And this is one that grew on me a decent amount. I gotta say, first time I tried Drakkar Intense, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I was just whelmed, actually. It's got some nice aspects to it. You know, it does have a little throwback to Drakkar Noir and the original Drakkar as well, but then it has a nice warmth to it, a little sweetness. Very, very, very slightly modernized. It still stays with one foot firmly in the past, but I think that it smells great. It's one of those ones that as I wore it more, it felt like it opened up more, and I gotta say the first time I wore it and the second time, third time, it came across very weak in terms of performance, like it wasn't projecting, wasn't lasting. But then as I gave it a few more chances, it really worked well for me. So I thought, that's a great one because you can get this for a good price nowadays. Looked up the retail price and yeah, just not quite there. I swear, it's actually kind of difficult once you start trying to do this. It feels like, it'd be easy. And then you start putting stuff together and you end up coming to like $400 of value. And it's like, what? But then I did have a true epiphany and I was like, of course, one of these. One of what, you might ask? One of these. That's right. Lalique Encre Noir All Extreme. Now you could cheat, and I will say, you can't take multiple fragrances from the same line to make this work. So you can't say, okay, I choose Encre Noir Sport, and Encre Noir All Extreme. Not allowed. But you can take one, and I'm taking this one. So I found this one for 27 bucks at Fragrance Buy. That is the discounted price. And this guy retails for a decent amount. And what is that decent amount, you might ask? Well, $139. It's nice. So $112 of savings compared to retail. Now, I think the Encre Noir All Extreme, and for that matter, the other Encre Noirs also, some of the best bang for your buck fragrances out there. When you compare how much you're saving and how good these smell and the fact you can get them under $30, yeah, they're insane. Now that being said, for your average guy who's just looking for a versatile fragrance, compliment puller, you know, something that they can wear whenever they want, something with mass appeal, something they can wear to the office, on a date, whatever, then yeah, the Encre Noir fragrances maybe not the greatest for them. And that's fair enough. Like, not everybody has to love every fragrance, for sure, right? We all have our different tastes, and that's totally fine. But It does become an issue sometimes because the Encre Noir fragrances have been hyped for years as amazing cheapies. And again, I think that they are. But people will hear that just like, oh, this is one of the best bang for your buck cheapies out there, niche quality, right? Niche quality. And so they pick it up expecting to just be like blown away and go, oh my God, this is now my secret weapon, right? And then they get it and they smell it and go, that's unwearable. That's horrific. Why did I do this to myself? Now, I'm not saying at all that this is hyper impossible to wear, anything like that. What I am saying is if you're not into fragrances that are maybe considered a little adventurous compared to the true mainstream, then this probably won't be for you. It has incense, it has vetiver, it has cypress, has some resins in there as well. It's rich, it's dark, slightly sweet, little smoky, has a bit of an earthiness to it as well. Again, I think killer buy, amazing bang for your buck, but it's not gonna be for everyone. For me though, fantastic, and it goes right in. That's what she said. Now, from there, my mind went to a very obvious place. It went to Bentley for Men Intense. So why is that a very obvious place to go? Well, of course, for the longest time, Encre Noir in its different forms and facets has been kind of linked with Bentley for Men Intense. These two have been presented as two of the best, again, cheapies, bang for your bucks, niche quality cheapies on the market ever since they came out. And again, I think that's warranted. But same thing with Bentley for Men Intense that applies to Encre Noir. A lot of people have bought this over the years, you know, hearing all of the praise, and then they've gotten it in, smelled it, and thought, my God, that is unwearable. I don't think that, but for sure, many people have thought that. And this is a fragrance that has fluctuated a little bit up and down in terms of price over the years. Not a whole lot, you know, it's just moved little smidges, but when we're trying to do something like this, a few bucks means a lot. I found this one for $27, still amazing deal, and it retails for $110. So not quite as much savings as you're gonna find over here. And this is another one, kind of like Encre Noir, a little woody, incensey, kind of dark, has a good amount of spice to it, some booziness as well. Smells similar to the niche fragrance Idole de Luban. But I just couldn't work this one in at the end of the day because that savings just wasn't good enough. That's how difficult it is to actually make this work, where something with that amount of savings, I was like, well, it's just not enough savings. But I would like to own that one, of course, if I were trying to shop for best bang for your buck. From there, I was thinking, a long shot, but maybe a Versace fragrance would work. And I was specifically thinking about this one, the Dreamer. I actually love the Dreamer. I think it smells awesome. I love this stuff. I think it has a really unique scent profile. Nothing else out there, to me, smells like the Dreamer. It's one of those things where you smell this, and if you're familiar with the scent, you know right away what it is. You know, there's no confusion. There's no like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, but you know, it's got that slight little difference. So maybe it's actually this over here. Kind of reminds me of that also. None of that. Like when you smell the Dreamer, it's like, oh, yeah, that's the Dreamer. Now, this is another one that not everybody loves. You know, it's a little divisive. Some people hate it. But like I said, I love it. And I've got like some personal attachment to it. You know, it was originally purchased as a gift by my wife. So it's one of those things where, you know, you form connections with the smell and it's like, oh, happy times. But I really enjoy it just on its own merit. Also, it's got some cool notes in there that aren't used as often anymore, like carnation. You've got a nice tobacco in there. It's not like a super sweet pipe tobacco or anything like that, but you've got some tobacco leaf, lavender. It's really nice smelling. Can you get it for 20 bucks? So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, 20 bucks for a Versace? That stuff's gotta be worth, I don't know, at least 100, right? So that would be that sweet spot. You know, you get 5 times value right there. No, it was retail for 80 bucks. So I was just like, frick, because that's one I would actually legitimately, if I bust this right now and I busted my other bottle too, I would buy it like that. I would take this over this all day, every day. But in terms of stuff, that was better. It'll make sense at the end. So what I ended up actually going with was a fragrance that I found for a whole 18 bucks. And that was at Joma Shop, $18 for this one right here, Kenneth Cole Mankind Unlimited. And this one retails for $84. So you see, it was $2 less than the Dreamer, $4 more value in terms of retail cost. Between this and the Dreamer, which one would I rather own? I'd rather own the Versace, but that's not the name of the game. So Mankind Unlimited, oh, also just this has the worst atomizer of all time. I forgot about that. You see this? That's horrific. It's so bad. I think I just have a faulty bottle, to be fair, but oh, it's leaking on me too. Fantastic. I'm so glad. My hands smell so fresh. I don't have any paper towels or anything over here. Oh well, I'll just, yep, just pretend that this is a splash bottle and just go ahead and, yep, nice, clean it up just like that. That's perfect, just how they drew it up. So how does Mankind Unlimited smell? Well, it's actually not too bad, especially when you consider this as a sub $20 fragrance, and you can find it for sub $20 all day, every day. It's available for 18 bucks across different discounters. It's not just Joma Shop, it's like a few different places. Again, as of this video, that you can find it for that price point. That's a full 100 ml size bottle. So again, just absurdly inexpensive. And it smells kind of similar to like Versace Pour Homme if you gave it a slight Azzaro Chrome touch. Like, it leans closer to Versace Pour Homme, but it's not the exact same. Like, there's a slight bit more airiness, maybe a touch more metallic feel to it, but it's really fresh, very clean. Again, airy, you know, touch aromatic. It's actually not that bad. It is basic. Yeah, it's definitely not a fragrance where somebody who owns a whole bunch of stuff is gonna smell it and just be like, what is this? What is this masterpiece? Oh, Kenneth Cole. Exquisite. I would have never known. I would have never imagined in a million years the quality. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But for a basic, clean, freshy spring, summer during the day, yeah, pretty good. Especially if you're a younger guy, don't have too much money to spend. Yeah, so that one goes in. And then I was getting on a bit of a roll. Yes, I was, because I thought about this one. Baldi Serini Signature. Not super well known. You can get it for 20 bucks, $20. To be fair, that is a tester, but I'm gonna stretch the rules a little bit. $20, and it retails for $99 from what I could see. Now, to be fair, this one's kind of hard to find the retail price on in the US. So I had to basically just take a website's word for it that $99 is the retail price, but that sounds about right. I mean, honestly, that's super cheap retail, so it might even be more than that, but 99 is what I found. That's what I'm gonna roll with. I even went to Baldi Serini's own website where they have all the fragrances listed. Like, they have the notes and the inspiration behind it and everything, but they didn't have anything as far as pricing or even where to buy the stuff, at least not that I saw, which is kind of interesting. It's like, hey guys, check out these products I made. This is the whole inspiration behind it, the story behind it. These are the notes. Look at that, it's fantastic. And then you say, well, that's cool. How much does it cost? I can't tell you that, friend, sorry. Where could I buy it? I also can't help you with that, buddy. I'm so sorry. But look at it, would you? This is a great website that I made, don't you think? Great. What? Like, what are you doing? Some of the people behind these brands. Would it hurt you to link it? But anyway, 20 bucks, 100 ml size, $99 retail. Solid savings. Baldi Serini Signature smells similar to a fragrance you may have heard of before called Aventus. Yep, that Aventus. So it is a Creed Aventus style scent, but with that comes great versatility, mass appeal, and it actually smells really nice. Surprisingly good quality. I think that as far as the kind of under the radar Aventus style fragrances at 20 bucks, this is one of the absolute best buys out there. Again, for that price point. If you pick it up for 60, probably not gonna be thinking as much of how great of a deal this is, but $20, that is awesome. Because you can use this in the same places, the same ways that you would use Explorer. And it's not like this is, you know, way worse than Explorer or way worse than the 52,000 cheap clones out there of Aventus. It's well done. Now, don't be a weenie and then buy it and go like, oh, I spent $20 and it doesn't smell like it's completely 100% naturals. No way. You mean you spent 20 bucks and the fragrance doesn't smell like it cost an actual 400? Ooh. But as long as you go in with actual reasonable expectations, I think a lot of you out there will be surprised at how good this is for 20 bucks. And then I thought I was pretty smooth. I was like, wait a sec. I know another Aventus alternative that's cheap, Mercedes-Benz Select. So I looked it up and yes, it is cheap. $27 is the price point on this one, but it retails for just $107 according to the Mercedes-Benz website. And while this is an Aventus style fragrance, it is much more on the fruity side of things, whereas Paul Di Sereni's signature is more on the woody, fresh, spicy side. Again, kind of closer to Explorer in a way. This is much more fruit forward. And I would say actually between the two of these, probably rather wear Paul Di Sereni's signature. And since it's a better deal in terms of the savings and everything, we're going with that one, not Ben Select. But Ben Select is still really solid for under 30 bucks. It's overlooked. I was quickly running out of ideas and searching through a lot of things, and a couple of the other fragrances that I thought about were this one, Dunhill Icon, but that one was just not quite there. I found it for 33 bucks, which is a good deal. It used to be cheaper, I feel like, a few years back, but 33 is still pretty cheap. And that one I think retailed for 130. So, I mean, you're looking at almost $100 savings. Still wasn't quite enough, ate up too much of the budget. Dunhill Icon, really solid. You know, it's a good fragrance, nice, versatile scent. Some similarities to other popular kind of gentlemanly fragrances out there. It's drawn comparisons to things like Terre d'Hermès, Declaration by Cartier, fragrances kind of in that wheelhouse, but couldn't go with that one. Then I thought about another cheapie, like super cheap, $15 cheap, Bogart Pour Homme, and that's another one, flies under the radar. 65 though, I think is the retail on that one. At least from what I could find. It's another one of those ones that is not readily available at retail. You know, you can't go to Macy's and look it up or anything. And this one, for that price, $15, really, really, really good. A lot of tonka in this one. Orange blossom, lavender, patchouli, some floral notes. It's drawn comparisons, like some vague comparisons to Naxos from Xerjoff. Obviously, tobacco is not a note in here, but you can make kind of like a faint comparison between this and the Xerjoff. So Bogart Pour Homme smells great and it's a good savings, but it didn't get me there. So I was about to give up. Every time I was putting things together, these fragrances and a lot more that I looked up, I couldn't get to 500. I kept getting like 450, 470, 430, until I thought, let me try to go back to Lalique. And I found this one for $19. Lalique White. That retails for $129. Now it has similarities to Parfums Marly Galloway. It's a very sophisticated, gentlemanly kind of fragrance. Some people compare it to the smell of pencil shavings though, so be aware of that. It's fresh, spicy, woody, and an amazing savings, $110. Probably would appeal more to middle-aged guys and older, but for $19, it is once again an insane bang for your buck, proving once again that Lalique is the true best bang for your buck brand in terms of savings and overall quality for cheap prices, though oftentimes their fragrances don't appeal as much to younger people. So when I add up these 5 fragrances in terms of the discounted price, 99 bucks. That is with me rounding up on these. So technically it was like a little bit less, 98 and some change, I think. But we're just gonna say 99. And in terms of retail pricing, $519. So about 520 bucks for right at 100, which means that if you really don't 100% care about the fragrances that you're getting, you can get $500 worth of retail value for under 100 bucks just shopping the usual discounters. Now, you could go to like eBay or something and buy used bottles or something like that and get yourself $500 of value, kind of, for under 100 bucks, I'm sure. Or you could, you know, buy decants maybe and be like, oh, look, I got 10 milliliters of this very expensive fragrance and somehow finagle that. But if we're talking just buying from stores, not used bottles, and you want $500 retail value, this is what I came up with. Now, like I said, my own personal taste, I would, you know, swap some of these out and spend a few bucks over 100, but I barely did it. So again, if you guys played along, let me know what you were able to come up with. I'm sure, I'm absolutely positive that there are some fragrances out there that I didn't think about that are a better savings even, but it does start to get like where your brain turns to mush when you've just compared like the 300th fragrance at their retail price to their discounted price and tried to fit it together like a jigsaw puzzle to where it works out. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.